What's going on, everybody?
I'm here.
What's happening?
What's happening, man?
Trying to gather some of these lineups. I think they just released the Angels.
Yeah.
There's like a problem because like most of what I like is in later games.
Yeah.
So I have to wait.
You have no idea what the lineups are going to be.
No.
Texas is very predictable. There should be one or two player different, if anything. They're not going to change anything. Houston's is very predictable. The only difference is whether Diaz or Maldonado catches. And the Giants and Padres could do whatever. So, what do you like?
So I'm playing MME. This is baseball tonight, so I'm not really playing the Dodgers. I'm playing like San Diego, Houston, Texas, those types of deals. And again, depending on the lineup, like you said, Houston, I'm not too worried about. San Diego, not too worried about. And yeah. The only other thing that's a little different, I am taking a couple of shots with the Sheehan.
Yeah, I don't think it's the worst idea.
Yeah, just for no reason. I mean, but that's pretty much the deal. What are you liking right now?
Yeah, I don't get this Houston love at all.
There's Houston love?
I've had a couple of questions about Houston today, and I personally just don't. I understand it from like their low owned and all this, but
yeah,
if there's an offense we overrate more than Houston,
that's true.
I mean, they're just they have some great bats at the top in the middle, but it's still like it's not like a good matchup for them. This big huge stadium downgrade, it did stick out to me that the total was so low for them, but I just never really considered a Houston stack personally. Of course, now Houston may go, well, it's the same thing yesterday, and Houston went and did nothing. But
zero.
Yeah, now maybe they come back and score a million runs. I like the Cubs.
Ooh,
a lot, and especially
nice.
I like Colorado, and I like the Dodgers and Braves, but I'm not getting to full stacks. But like I have the Cubs stacked with the Dodgers. Cubs stacked with Betts and Acuna, as one-offs basically, and I really like that. And I don't think that, and as Travis Jordan is saying, I think there's zero in the videos for me.
Yeah, I just can't hear you. There's like some printing extravaganza going on.
I think the printers still existed.
Oh, there. Yeah. You know what? We single-handedly support the printer business here.
And Travis is saying that the Jays, there's nothing tempting about that to me whatsoever. Trying to stack against Garrett Cole, it just feels like getting to be way too creative. Maybe if you're playing 150, you could throw in a couple of lineups, but I don't see any reason in trying to stack Toronto. In fact, there's a lot of things that I just really don't like that much on this slate. So I'm going to focus on what I do. So okay, so I like the expensive Cubs, the expensive Braves, and the expensive Dodgers the most. Now the Dodgers are going to be popular, obviously. I am not using them as a full stack at all, but I definitely think pieces make some sense. I like Texas as my next team. I just couldn't pick Texas over Chicago. I like the Cubs a little bit too much better. When you bring in a young pitcher with a high range of outcomes, it's really hard not to have an interest in a good team in a good stadium environment. The part that I don't love about that game is, again, 10 miles an hour blowing in from left field. So that's why I prefer the lefties, like I said. I want the power upside if I'm going to play a stack like that's that expensive. So I would be making my primary stacks either Colorado, Chicago, or Texas. but I'm ended up with more of the Chicago, Colorado sides of it. And the other team I like is the Giants. And I think the Padres are fine, but they feel expensive to play them at this price. I'd rather play the Giants personally. I am doing some different things at pitching. I'm double spending down in my biggest buy-in right now. With it's either going to be Estes and Thompson or it's going to be Manaea and Thompson. It's not a great matchup for Manaea, so I'm just waiting to see if San Diego's lineup is, because if San Diego releases a weak lineup, I'm going to take Manaea and then switch things around and not play Thompson. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention that everybody in the Cardinals and Brewers game is super cheap on both sites. So I think that those are great pieces to use as well. Like I said, I'm using Zach Thompson in my main lineup. I like Zach Thompson. I actually think he's going to be a good pitcher. And they put just a terrible lineup up there against him. And against Miley, like you've got Luke and Baker at 2.3, Yepes batting cleanup at 2.6. There's just a couple of really cheap bats. So on FanDuel, they're also really cheap. And on FanDuel, I have a Texas stack with a two-man St. Louis and a two-man Milwaukee. Pretty much, I don't necessarily love the full Milwaukee stack because I don't love this lineup. But you want to play three of them, or you want to play them in a 4-4. You can spend up for any other stack you want while paying up at pitching, because they're 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters. Nobody's more than 3K, and they're 7 hitters 2.5, and they're 8 hitters 2.7. You know what I mean? Their third most expensive guy is your man Turang batting 9th. So I would be getting to some exposure to that if I wasn't using Thompson, and I would be getting some exposure to the Cardinals if and I'm not using Miley, but I would get a little bit of exposure to them just because the pricing makes everything else work.
You getting any of the cheap Twins?
I don't play games in that terrible hitting conditions. I understand that it sometimes may hurt or whatever. It's just I like Estes against the Twins.
Yeah, I'm getting almost zero with the Twins.
And the Twins have for what it's worth, their lineup is just awful. It's really bad. Like of the guys in their lineup, only 2 of them were on the opening day roster, and one of those guys was hitting 8th. So, this is pretty much it's a pretty bad lineup. Now at the same time, there's some upsides, sure, and it's Estes, and it's not a bad situation, like, because other than the fact that it's 10 miles an hour wind blowing from center, but it doesn't mean you can't poke one out off these guys, and you have a horrible bullpen behind Estes. It's not like Estes is some superstar. I'm just using him because of the price thing and because I don't think this Twins lineup is very good. But I'm in on the idea of I just didn't get to them, and also I thought they would be a little bit more popular than I think they ended up being. Looking at the updated ownership right now, let's see what you got here. Yeah, the Twins are still getting a little bit of love. Well, I don't think they're going to get too much love to where it's a problem. In fact, really only the Dodgers seem to be standing out in terms of ownership again. So I could co-sign off on any of these other teams, actually. I just personally would rather take the games in better hitting environments. It's a good matchup, obviously, for Minnesota. I just didn't personally get there myself.
I'm waiting on Texas, specifically Seager.
Seager's the only question is my guess is that he plays, like, okay. Just because if he can move his arm, he's playing. They're in absolutely must win territory every game.
Oh right, I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, so like it's more important. They could basically clinch tonight the division. They're 2.5 up on the Astros, 3 up on the Mariners. And there's only. For them, they've only got 5 games left to play. So if they can get it to it would essentially leave them, their magic number could be almost non-existent by the end of the night. So I'm very, very sure that whoever can play for them will play for them. But I'm assuming Seager's playing as of right now, just because of that. If he's really banged up, I can't speak to that, Right. I also found it pretty easy. I have a Colorado full stack with Cole and Lopez, just because I could do it. So I thought, okay, I'll do it once. You
always manage to do that somehow.
It's pretty nice. It's not like it's the best hitters from Colorado too. It's not like I'm dumpster diving. You have 2,300 guys all over the place. It's just really easy to do. but I think Lopez and Barrios are just as good, almost a combination as Cole and Lopez. Close enough. But I would mention that, like right now, I've got my FanDuel build with the Texas stack, and I don't think it's going to be too as crazy popular. It'll be owned a little bit, and I'm playing Lopez in my main FanDuel lineup. But I have to say, when you're going to get 7 times as much ownership on Lopez as you're going to get on Cole, both with nothing to play for, but Cole with more of the personality of something to play for.
That's true.
There's absolutely no reason Pablo Lopez has to throw more than 75 pitches tonight. You know what I mean? Like, what are they? What is? Yeah, the thinking generally in this spot when you're gonna play this anyway, the general thinking would be let him go close to his normal amount, but probably preserve it a little bit. So probably 90 pitches. So I'm just thinking this out because last time I said this about Cole, I was like, oh, when no one's playing Garrett Cole, which was never the case for years, and you said you didn't think he was owned that much. He actually was the most owned pitcher, I believe, over the past 5 years, and I think each year he was too. I really do. I'm almost positive of it, but somebody posted it. I don't know if that's true, but that's what he put up 37 last time. Now it was against the same team, but they let him throw 107 pitches. They really. I don't know what he's had it. Like, people don't realize Garrett Cole's had a tremendous season, and I just feel like it's a spot where it's kind of interesting to me that no one's playing Cole.
Yeah, I think that's pretty sharp, especially on
FanDuel.
Yeah,
he's just gonna be nothing there. But I also I have a full Giants stack. I have a Padres 3-man. I have, like I said, I think that the heaviest exposure ownership guys for me give away what I'm doing at pitching in my other positions because I'm playing Bellinger, Betts, and Acuna together quite a bit. And
let's go.
That's like yes, you probably need all of them to hit at least home runs or equivalent, or more actually. But I still love that I can get that in with the stacks that I want and not have to worry about it too much. So. So I really like the idea of taking a shot at the Cubs tonight. And the Cubs also desperation mode, hanging on by a half game to the last wild card spot.
See if there's any
Atlanta with nothing to play for also could mean just nobody's out of the bullpen if they want to.
Let's see if we can find some lineups here.
I don't think we're going to get my guess is the Giants one doesn't come in. Giants and Padres are probably the two latest in general for the West Coast teams. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get them. Maybe we will. We'll see. But I wouldn't. Again, the only thing we're worried about with the Rangers is whether or not Seager's arm is okay and whether or not it's Evan Carter's in the lineup tonight, which I think he will be against a righty.
And like you said, I mean they're playing for everything. So. Yeah, and they I was reading the DraftKings blurb and it said they did X-ray and it came back negative. I mean they'll help play. Yeah,
I think it's time that. So I have a World Series call here that I'm just going to make. I before the season I had the same two teams, so I can't go against it now because no one was all in on the Rangers as much as I was before the season. I have the Dodgers over the Rangers in the World Series. And I want to point out, everybody keeps saying, well, but the Braves have all this and the Dodgers don't have the pitching because they're all injured. The year that the Braves won the World Series a couple years back, keep in mind, everybody was injured in their outfield. There was no Acuna on that team. They basically had all these guys who were DFA'd, who became the greatest hitters of all time. Eddie Rosario had the greatest playoff series of anybody in history. Adam Duvall. This year, the Dodgers are gonna get it back. The Braves are probably a slightly better team than the Dodgers, but I think this is the year the Dodgers beat the Texas in the
Well, let's as they say, let's put our collective monies where our mouths are. So let's see what we got on the sports book here. Let's see what these odds are. Baseball, MLB. Let's see what we got. So we got to look for futures, probably, right? Let's see. First inning, batter prop, game parlay, season special, team futures, World Series 2023. Now, keep in mind, we're going to get a terrible price no matter what we do. Okay. but let's see. We have who'd you say? Texas. Only 7-1. I mean, these people have no shame
To win the World Series?
to win the World Series.
Get out of here.
Right?
But they've got the Dodgers at 6. Oh, because the American League is so much easier.
4.2 to 1.
4.2. I thought it was 6 point something.
But why don't we get? Yeah, I'd like to really just
They
go
have the
for
matches. I think those are usually on the FanDuel one. It'd be nice if you could get the exact matchup.
Yeah. Can you part? No. Division winner, league winner, division straight forecast. What is that? Division straight forecast. Oh, first. Oh, you got first/second. No, division winner. That's all ridiculous. League winner. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably not going to be good enough odds.
Well, let's see what you said. FanDuel, you might be able to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how this thing works. I just know that they have these bets because I see them out there.
Let's just see. Let me check my code here.
I can't bet it, so I have no idea.
No, I know. We want some action here. If Texas, what's Texas over the Dodgers? Is that what you said?
No, the Dodgers over Texas. Also a little narrative, the last time the Dodgers won a World Series, it was in that stadium.
Okay, MLB. Let's see, World Series. Let's see. Exact result. Here we go. Okay. Name the finalists and exact result. Let's see. Dodgers to beat Orioles. Show more. No, Dodgers to beat Rangers, 16 to 1.
I think it was like 40 something to 1 before.
Right? I mean,
When Houston was in first, I think that's when the last time someone told me about it. It was like 40 something to 1. But
they have no shame.
Yeah.
Well, they do what people do. That's like, you know what I mean? Like people are betting this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous because it sort of does imply that it's like a semi-fair line. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If they're putting it out, you have to think they're not completely ripping you off, but they are.
But 16 actually isn't that crazy for where they are now, because it's really just, obviously it's just winning 3 series and then 2 series for the Dodgers.
I tell you what I'm going to do. So I got one. All right, I'm going to go 27 to 1. I'm going to go for $50. I'm going to go with Tampa over the Dodgers.
Okay. And that was at the same stadium, the two. There's the other part.
$50 to win $1,350. There you go.
Oh, why not? Yeah.
And then just to X out the account here, we're going to do your thing. Dodgers over the Rangers. Okay, so let's go. Dodgers over the Rangers, 16 to 1 for $39.
All right.
Win 624. Lock.
It's going to happen.
Lock City, USA.
Whoever the Braves play in the first round, if the Braves get a 1-game lead, I'll probably jump on the other team and take a shot or something. Like, you know what I mean? Just because the odds will be pretty astronomical for how random playoffs baseball is, or how random baseball is. But yeah, I don't know, how much more we could talk there. Like I said, on FanDuel, the things I noticed that were different, I mentioned just the Cole ownership and non-existent on both sites, but I like the FanDuel idea. I think I'm actually just going to do it. I think I'm just going to pull the trigger and make it happen and try to actually win a tournament. I mean, they're not going to pull Cole. The problem is it goes against my Cole just pitched against these guys. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I just can't quite bring myself to resist Baker and Who
do you like? Baltimore, Jolly? That's your pick? All right.
That's the chalk.
Oh, Baltimore?
In the American League for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, just because they have the home field advantage, they've got the best record. They don't have any I think that they're.
I don't suppose DeGrom's coming back for Texas, is he?
No.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't want anything to do with DeGrom. Who would want anything to do with DeGrom?
Dude, if he's pitching, he's the best.
He is by far the most overrated pitcher in the history of baseball. Like, literally, he's the Kyrie Irving of baseball. If you play once out of every 10 games that everybody else plays, it's a lot easier to keep that arm fresh. He basically is like like a whatever, a setup man in terms of the number of innings he pitches per season, and not even.
My point is that if he's in fact pitching, he's the best.
We don't know if he's the best. Do it for one full season. He's pitched like the majority of 1 year. Like I just don't think it's the same thing. These other guys wear their arms out. It's really easy when you have a fresh new arm every year. And I just think he's really overrated. I think it's really underrated, eating things up, and all that. And he's never faced. It's not like he's ever like been in the middle of a playoff game or anything like that. Like, I don't know. I just think that everybody loves to say he's the best. And I'm like, great. And nobody cares about ERA, but you guys care about the fact that he pitched, 20 good innings in the season. I don't know. I'm not anti-DeGrom. I'm not even going to say that he's not the best. I just don't. There's no way I could say a guy who never pitches is the best pitcher.
It's basically, we're tweeting. Bobby Firestone says DeGrom sucks. That's it.
I'm not saying he sucks. But it would be interesting to see what happened if he actually had to pitch every year.
Yeah. Well, it's tough to pitch.
Yeah, but exactly. It's just as tough for the other guys. And somehow they managed to do it. I mean, and that's part of pitching those sheets too, isn't it? Like, I mean, it's not wearing your arm out every start. It's not throwing beyond your capabilities. And I believe he's done that. I really do. I can't believe that, 19 injuries is a coincidence.
No.
And I have a cousin who knows a ton about baseball who's always trying to make this DeGrom is the greatest of all time argument. And I'm like, it's just, I can't even hear it. I need a guy who's got like more than like 75 career wins, who's not a closer. I don't know. I just think it's funny. But what's funny is the whole argument that started that whole thing a long time ago, not that I want to rehash it, the whole thing. But the Chris Bryant being a top 20 player in baseball, like that was the original argument. Chris Bryant had 1 year where he was a top 20 player in baseball, and that's it. He was so far back. He was probably like the 80th best player, and we were having this big argument, and this guy was arguing that he was like the top 3 player. How could I say he's not top 20? Anyway, I just think it's kind of funny. Although I have to say, Chris Bryant is the guy who had in most of my lineups last night, so I obviously play him still. Anyway, this is what happens to me when I'm alone. I don't have anything else to talk through, so I just ended up sort of talking about everything.
I'm waiting for lineup. So you liked it. So Estes.
Houston's lineup is out, by the way, and
it is. Is Brantley in?
Yeah, Brantley's batting 6th.
Okay.
I will just if they get a lead or anything, they do tend to pull him a little bit early sometimes. I don't know what position wise he's playing tonight. He might just be DHing him. I'm guessing that's what they'll do with him. So maybe they don't need to worry about it, but just wanted to.
So there's no surprises.
Nope. Altuve, Bregman, Alvarez, Tucker, Abreu, Brantley, Dubon, Pena, Maldonado.
Okay, so no, McCormick wasn't supposed to play. Okay, all right, that's good. So who is Oza? You think Azakar gets in from the Padres?
Probably.
Yeah, I have him in some lineups. I'm just trying to think because I'm going out to dinner. I just want to see what I have to deal with.
And he may only get 2 at bats, but just fair word of caution.
Two home runs is all I need from him.
Wouldn't that be best up to the 2 home runs and then they pull him?
That'd be legendary.
It happened before, man. I can't believe it, but it did.
Oh, so Dubon's in. Okay, so I have him in some. All right, that's good.
The only guy you might have would be McCormick, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have McCormick.
Or Yainer Diaz. They're asking if we like Dunning. I didn't get to Dunning, but I definitely can't say negative things about a pitcher against the Angels. Did you get to any Dunning sheets? Maybe a little bit.
I got to very, very little Dunning.
Yeah.
I got to like 10% of him just in MME.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that seems about right.
How about Dunning Sheehan lineup? Like that's what I need. Like something like that.
The Dunning Sheehan, yeah. Just
that's way too chalky, I think.
Too chalky.
5 entries in the 888. There it is. Dunning and Sheehan, all of them. That's it, whatever it is.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, did you know? Like this is. See, I'm not aware of this. I was doing like the contest sim stuff. So one of the things I was doing is I had to enter like manual stuff about like how many entries each thing is or whatever. So I really got a chance to look at some of the contests and see how many people are in some of these things versus some others. And one of the things I noticed, this is not exactly what my point was, that in the 444 on FanDuel, okay, on the NFL, they allow 75 entries.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And people do it, right?
People do it, yeah. But is it 200 for first for that one?
Yeah.
Okay, if at least it's 200. The ones that crack me up are when it's 100,000 for first and people spend 39,000 on entry fees.
Yeah,
like that's impossible. I don't understand mathematically how that could possibly work in the long run.
Well, you haven't seen nothing. You see people put they used to have a max of like 35 entries in the in the LOL thing because they're freaking two game slates. It's ridiculous, right? But this year they increased to like 80 entries or something.
Oh no, everything's a tie.
People pile in like lineups that have like no chance to win. It's like so funny.
That's really funny.
It does make it harder to get to win by yourself, obviously, because like every combination is almost taken. But like it really becomes a contest of like not who gets the optimal, because if you max enter, you'll probably hit the optimal. But it's like whether hitting the optimal, makes you like only loses you 70% of your money, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So just to make one thing clear, I got to clear up one thing I said. So San Diego could still make the wild card if they win out and Cincinnati, Miami, and Chicago lose all their games. So they're out.
I thought you were going to walk back.
And so could San Francisco. So technically they're not out of the wild card race, but I actually think, it's basically impossible.
What's more important though, that the Padres actually have a chance, or that DeGrom is like the greatest pitcher?
Well, I don't agree with. I mean, the Padres don't really have.
I was going to say, which thing were you walking back? Which thing you were saying? It was something I forgot to correct myself on.
Well, I had
you mentioned the Padres. I don't know which could be back, that or the DeGrom thing.
San Diego and San Francisco are essentially eliminated. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I needed to say. I'm not walking back anything on DeGrom.
Hey, you played. You said you were playing the Cardinals, right? A little bit, or no?
Yeah. Cheap Cardinals are a really easy way to get to a lot of things.
Yeah, like Luke and Baker is like 3 cents.
So is the cleanup hitter.
Who's that? Yepes or whatever.
Yeah. Pingalore is saying, nice Pingalore. He had a 3K DFS score on Yahoo the other day, but I don't know. He said I asked this before. Yahoo DFS. I hit a 3K the other day. I don't touch Yahoo very much just because I
don't either. Not for baseball.
But we do have there are the projections on there. I don't have anything. I can't imagine I'd do anything differently. I'm guessing the same crazy cheap guys will be crazy cheap. I just think what you do over there in general is you pay up for pitching and use the value that they overdo the value, same as they do in every sport.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants have technically been eliminated because they lost the season series to the Cubs. They're eliminated. Both these teams are eliminated. The Giants and Padres are eliminated. We shouldn't even talk about it. I just wanted to point out statistically that if they win out, they would technically end up tied. I just didn't look at the head-to-head, whether they had the tiebreaker with the Cubs or the other ones. The reason why is because the site's terrible and there's enough DFS between the other sites for me to get going to use. I just really hate the way Yahoo does it. I also had some scores, and Sheets had a big score. Sheets had a bigger score than I ever had over there. He won the football one.
Yeah, that was fun.
But I just want the drugs, DraftKings, Michael King. Kim the man with that Michael King 6K price. Okay, yeah. What did King end up with yesterday, by the way?
Not much.
I don't think it was like that big of a
like 19 or something. I think it was.
Yeah, that's pretty good for 6K.
Yeah. Neither of them got the win.
Paul Blackburn put up 5,700. I'd be a lot happier. Here we go. I like this question. Sam DeStew asking, what DFS shark annoys you the most and cheats the most? Not hating, but that I don't know which one he's talking about.
You're getting you're biting. You're messing with the wrong one. I'm never going to say something like that.
I know you won't. People say that about the players not being as sharp, and I think they are. There is something up to that, but like what tournaments are you playing where they're not as sharp? Because every other sharp person is picking that up. Appreciate the love, Cam. So I'm going to say it's not these other guys. I think Big T is really fun to do shows with. I think he's really entertaining. And I think he has good, like large, he has GPP type of takes that could win you a tournament with like 3 entries. I think I enjoy that. I think Hoop does a good job of, well, I think he does a really good job as a DFS player. They aren't the ones who annoy me the most, even though I don't necessarily I don't like them. But the people who annoy me the most are people who say a bunch of things and then don't actually play. I'm not going to name a specific name. I'll just say that there's a number of them that I used to work with that would talk a lot. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then you look that night and they wouldn't enter any tournaments. Like there's a number of guys like that. He had not been winning. Big T had a big night last night. Monday night. But you're right. He had been going through a horrible losing streak for a while.
I just don't like. I mean, I have my own complaints about content, but like personality wise, I'm not. Everybody's got their personality, whatever it is. But I mean, obviously, and this is more of a content thing. I don't like when people screenshot stuff without context. I really don't, and that's why I hate doing it. I don't like when people. I don't like also when the next day. Like, and this is, I guess, just to promote, where they just like post XYZ1X, XYZ1S. It just really just gives the impression that a site is like responsible for like all kinds of wins. You know what I mean? And you don't know who also belongs to 5 different sites, right. and all this stuff. And but the thing that bothers me the most about like a carload bothers me about content, but one is just that when you have 2 or 3 people like combining to like do a show together, they just always are just like by contract forced to agree with one another. It's like so annoying because that they either don't, which is worse, they're lying, or they intentionally agree with another, which is even worse also. It's healthy to have 2 different opinions. It's like ridiculous. Because it also gives like the impression that there was like let's say there's a true DFS way to play. You know what I mean? Like if you and I like come up with the same play, it's because there's only one way to play, and the true DFS site has it down to a science. You know what I mean? So, and that's just not it's not genuine. That's the best. And the other thing, obviously, with content is I don't think anybody except for us, honestly, teaches people how to play. Nobody.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I wanted to point out one thing that when he sort of first blew up, and he was the number 1 ranked player in the world. I'm not going to say who it was, but you guys could probably figure it out. He was telling me that he was on I think it was like a $4 or $5 million downswing, and all of this time is when he started max entering. So he was actually shooting up the leaderboards. It reminds me of like I think they used to have the card player of the year in poker. And Men the Master won it, but he actually lost money on the year in tournaments. And he won Player of the Year because if you do everything, you're going to look better. You're going to look like you're more accomplished than all that stuff. But Big T plays 150 now, but of the big buy-ins, he usually plays three entries. And to his credit, in the past he's done well with it. I know he's had some losing streaks, and I know people love
the Big T. For whatever else he's got going on, whatever, he's 100% genuine.
Oh yeah, he's 100% genuine about his stuff.
About DFS.
About DFS, yes.
That's it. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, he knows what his strengths, knows his weaknesses are. He says what he's gonna do, really, and he just does it. And then he realizes that this is gambling. He realizes that this is, he doesn't believe your own bullshit sometimes. You know what I mean? Like. And as a DFS guy and as a DFS personality, it's fun to be to kind of play DFS around him. It just is. It's fun. Mm-hmm. It's a fun sweat. That's it.
I agree. Anyway, back to our slate. I guess I should finish up my lineups, but I guess we need a few more starting lineups before I can do that. Where are you going to dinner? Anywhere special?
Sushi. No, just sushi. Just sushi.
Nice.
Yeah. It looks slow. We're still waiting on Seager, among other things. But boy, it's making me realize how much the Padres I have because I'm looking through my lineups that are still missing players, and a lot of the Padres.
Yeah.
Dude, what kind of moron has a lineup with Vines and Estes as your combination?
Fine.
That would be me, I guess.
It's weird. All that talk earlier, I didn't end up using any of the Vines. I ended up just hammering Chicago.
Yeah, why not? Same thing.
It's right. Same thing, the exact opposite. But yeah, it's the same thing.
What game is? Oh, okay. So wait, a couple of sort of announcements. So I've not ignored the Ryder Cup. Okay, we're gonna do something with it. We're gonna do something. But the thing is that in my opinion, you can't talk about the slate until you know who the starters are. You know what I mean? Like who the pairings are. And I think that comes out tomorrow.
When does it start? I thought it started tomorrow.
No, Friday, I think. Well, Thursday midnight, whatever.
Oh, I have no idea, man. I literally, everybody else is excited about it. There's no DFS sweat. I'm definitely going to watch it, but I didn't pay attention.
No, I mean, I'll talk about the Ryder Cup from DFS perspective is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got you. But I'm on it. Don't worry, I'm on it. And tomorrow's NFL game is what? It is. Let me see. Sorry. It's Detroit at Green Bay, so we'll be covering that. The showdown.
That's a fun one.
Detroit Green Bay, yeah, it's not bad.
One of my big showdown ones was the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary pass. Actually, but it wasn't like a crazy win. It was like a 15K win or something. It wasn't.
You were on the right side of that.
I was on the right side. I was on the right side. Yeah, but I think all I really needed though, because it was like a single entry, I think all I needed was a catch. But it was no way. Obviously, there's no way to get a catch that it's going to be a touchdown if it's anything.
And you know what's coming sooner than later, Mr.
What's that?
Mr. Firestone? The NBA.
I'm really excited about that. God,
we getting Dame and Giannis on the same team?
Dame and Giannis on the same team, that's right.
I wonder what Jack, whatever his name is, has to say about this.
Yeah, I'll quickly just say something about that. Obviously there's great, good for them. Dame's a really good offensive player. It will be interesting because I don't know where Drew Holiday ends up, because I don't think he's not going to stay there. He's not, he's going to only play on contending teams. I don't think this is as big of an upgrade as people think, but I would say that Dame is such a horrendous defender and he doesn't play defense, that it's going to actually, this is the right kind of team because you have Lopez and Giannis to help on help side defense, which are two of the best in basketball. So it actually does kind of work out well. I'm just not sure that it's this incredibly they're automatically, because now I know they're the favorites, and that's okay. That's fair enough. But I don't know. I just think that it's a little bit, I don't think it was that big of a jump up for Milwaukee. I think it's a slight boost.
Couple of other announcements, then I guess I'll get out of here, is no, there's no MMA this week. MMA is off, for those of you who didn't realize that. There is an NHL is around the corner. Yeah, look at NBA. If you want to do a best ball team, that starts on the 20th. So first day of the NBA season, I think, is October 24th.
October 24th, right?
I think so.
And I want to give you guys a heads up. I told Chief this earlier, but I'm going to be in and out a little bit I'll handle all the football stuff. And we don't have a whole lot of other stuff. We'll drop in and do a live playoff baseball show here and there. I'll try to make them for the bigger slates and all that, but I have a bunch of practical stuff as well as some personal stuff I got to take care of, and a lot of site stuff that I got to work on. So it's not going to be the heaviest time outside of the football, obviously, which is going to be nothing different for me.
But it's okay because Bobby promised that he's going to be back for the LOL Worlds. So
I'll make it back for that. How am I going to miss it?
He's going to have a full Bobby's bets of the day on the LOL Worlds from Korea when that comes out in October. So
perfect. Yep, that's
he might miss all the NBA slates because it'll be deep. NFL slates will be deep in the woods, analyzing the LOL slates. But he'll be back for that. I promise you.
Deep in the woods, literally in the woods. Yep. I did want to point out that the Rangers released their lineup. It's predictable. Simeon, Seager, Lowe, Garcia, Jung, Heim, Garver, Tavares, Carter.
Okay, so he's probably 2K.
No, he's 3,900. No, he's been hitting. He's been
really?
These guys can all hit, man. Like the Texas guys who they bring up. Yeah, I mean, he hit 3 home runs his last 5 games, I think. Actually, he's hit 3 home runs in his last 10, 12, 11 at bats.
You think Flores plays today? You have no idea.
Wilmer, I mean, I don't know if the I honestly don't know what the Giants do sometimes. I can't guess their lineups. Yeah. I mean, either he plays or JD Davis plays, right? Like, it's got to be one of these two.
Yep.
I think people don't realize. I want to just point something else out to the chat because I can tell it happens. People will just say, "Oh, that too." Like, but there's so many things we talked about, like Pingeler saying what teams to run. I don't know what that's in relation to. So just remember, there's a little delay here. So just say specifically, like, on that, because I'm not sure what you mean, Pingeler. All right, and then I've got a site meeting soon.
Berrios.
I'm just trying to see what I'm doing. Pretty much all my stuff is in. I just need the Giants and Padres lineups, and I'm good to go.
Lopez, Berrios. Baker's a cute little one-off, isn't he?
Yep. I mean, all that whole game just. I mean, Tyron Taylor is not 2,900, and he's batting third.
Who is Jay Quercudo?
I don't know.
You don't even know who that is, do you? You're not familiar with the world famous Juniel Quercudo, who is 2K tonight for the Cardinals.
Oh, the 8-hitter, yeah,
seventh hitter. Don't sell him short.
I think it's Karakuto. I think I've heard the name before.
Karakuto, that's right.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced though. But that does sound. I feel like I heard somebody tell me his name before, but I have no idea who that is. You love that 2K. The people love that 2K flat thing. I never understand it. Oh, who to pair with Estes and Vines? No problem, Pingler. You mean who to stack? I know Sheets helps a lot, but I mean, we should try and focus on trying to find a way to build lineups here. I don't know if we can just say, like, who do we pair with our pitchers? I'll tell you, for me, it's the Dodgers, Texas, Braves, or Chicago. Those would be who I'd be deciding between. If you were playing Estes and Vine Sheets, if you were spending double down at pitcher, who do you think you would stack? Texas?
Yeah.
I think so. I think I'd do that too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Bryce Miller, no thanks.
All right.
Lopez. Sheehan.
Man, how do you like Rory, though? I gotta love do you see what Rory said?
No.
I love him. They asked him what he thought about the Live guys not being there. He said, they're going to miss not being here more than we miss them.
It's pretty good.
It's totally true. He's totally genuine all the time, and he answers honestly. I love it. One thing I do like that they do at RG, though, is when we get the questions, like, and it's basketball, and they're like, okay, we have a 6v6. Like,
yeah, that's right.
You have 8 players. Like, what do you want? What do you want to do?
When they get the questions, okay, these 4 versus these 4.
Right.
In single entry. That's
right. It's like it's just basically building someone else a lineup.
That's right. All right. So right now, I have in my biggest buy-in, I have, of course, the Pablo Lopez Ed Sheeran combination. That's it.
The Ed Sheeran, not to be confused with Ed Sheeran.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah. I was ready for you to say it. I had to do a Sheetsism, and
yeah,
just because you didn't come through for me.
I'm the worst. Who is T. Fitzgerald? Oh, Tyler Fitzgerald
Tyler
from the
Fitzgerald,
Giants.
yep. The Giants. Yeah. So, all right, I might bounce because I'm gonna get ready for a couple things for this meeting.
I kind of like this big old freaking San Diego, San Francisco game stack.
That's what I've got. That's my secondary lineup.
Kind of like that. Hope you don't have that in the ball 4 because you're playing for.
That's
second.
exactly what I've got it in the ball 4. Who are your pitchers? Who are your pitchers?
I'm pitching. Who else you besides Barrios and Canning together?
Oh, okay. Well, I have Barrios also, but I use Lopez. But I actually think the more I think of it, I think I probably should. It would have been smarter to use Cole and Barrios. I'm sorry, Cole and Lopez.
Okay, so this is why we're definitely winning. The only I have in all of the lineups I have saved in my DraftKings thing, I have 2 with Cole and and they're both Cole Kmet for this weekend.
I've built a number of early lineups here for football, and I'll tell you what they all have in common. They are only focused on one game.
You know what? They have nothing to do with my lineups. I promise.
I know. We have no chance to stand in the way of each other. I've never been, in our whole time doing shows, I don't think we've ever been on more of the.
I have just all kinds of like Eagles, Washington stuff. I mean, one thing we are going to be close on. You're going to play that Bears game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you in that one.
Yeah. As gross as it feels, I got to.
Yeah. I mean that, and actually on FanDuel that was actually a pretty big piece. Sam Howell, look at all these Sam Howells. Let's go. Eagles terrible defense. Let's go. Sam Howell be shredding the soft Eagles defense all up and down the field.
I'm going to show the screen for a second. We'll get a quick view of you. Scroll real quick. Look at that, Sam Howell. Yeah, how can you lose?
I mean, seriously.
There's no way to lose with that many Sam Howells.
That's it.
All right, I actually have to run to the restroom, and I have to get a few things done before the site meeting. Are you guys good? I can leave this open for you.
I'm out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck, everybody, and only a couple more days, and then we've got football. So have fun tonight, everybody, and hopefully we can take